Hello and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy and I'm your host. And today I have a co-host in Scout who has decided that she apparently does not want to co-host with a vampire. That's how it goes sometimes. Anyway, I'm your host and I am coming to you from Toronto, where it is a gray weekend, which has meant a lot of knitting, which is good because I had a lot of knitting to get done. Today on the podcast, I have two finished objects to share with you, or one finished and one almost finished. Just needs a bit of blocking. I have some new tea. I've got some pretty new yarn to share, and just lots of lovely yarny things like that. You can find me on Ravelry as Tracy RR. And on Instagram, I am Comfy Red Couch. And it is so hard to talk with these teeth in, a very difficult task. So I probably won't last very long because tea time is coming up. And in order to enjoy tea, one must take one's teeth out. Right, Scout? She's knocked something over. Anyway, I have lots of yarny goodness to share. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for returning and spending some time with me. I always appreciate that you come and spend each week with me, and I know that some of you and I chat during the week, and I always love hearing your comments, and I love having those little conversations with you. And if you are new to the podcast, yes, today is a little bit different with my teeth in, and they will come out shortly, and we will get back to normal hopefully soon. So anyway, welcome to the podcast. I hope that you are going to enjoy what you are going to see, and let's get started with some tea time. But first, I gotta take these teeth out. And did you? And these are just my little teeth that I bought, and they just pop out. I'm probably gonna get lipstick everywhere now. Okay, now that I have taken my teeth out and lost my cape, it's a good time to start tea time because it's a little hard to drink tea when you've got these big teeth in, and it's hard enough to speak as it is anyway. I'm not used to wearing lipstick, so I'm sure if you are a returning viewer, you're not used to seeing me wearing lipstick either. So yeah, and it's that lipstick. It's that Kat Von D Vampira lipstick. So I picked it up for Halloween, and Nathaniel and I had a little bit of fun on Friday night getting ready to become vampires for Halloween. So it's dark. It's very dark, I'll say that much. Anyway, this week on Tea Time, I am drinking out of my Fun David's mug that I showed off last week. And this is the glow-in-the-dark ghost mug. And it's got the lovely lid and the loose tea inside. And today I am drinking Glittering Ghost. And let me just put that down and take out my strainer so that I'm ready to go. So last week I showed off my Haunted Mansion survival kit. And today I am drinking one of the teas inside, and it is Glittering Ghost, and there are little glittery stars in there, and it's just a black tea with some other little fun goodies. And I thought today was the perfect day to drink this. I was kind of hoping swamp water was in there, but it wasn't, so I'm not drinking swamp water. I'm drinking Glittering Ghost. And it smells very good. So cheers. But that's not all I have to share on tea time today, because I got something very, very special on Wednesday night. And for those of you in the know, you may know that this didn't actually come out till Thursday. So I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I was able to get a David's 24 Days of Tea Advent Calendar. So inside are the 24 days of tea, and each day you slide one open And inside is just a little container like these ones from the Haunted Mansion kit. And there's a different tea each day. And when I was in the store, I was told there's actually something special under here. So there's 25, not 24. So I'm interested to see what that's all about. But my kit's going to go away till the 1st of December, along with my Nora George and my So Sweet Violet kits. So I now have 3 advents, and that's probably enough to get me through all of December, as it's a busy time for everybody, and so it'll be a fun little way to have some tea, yarn, and lots of wonderful little knitting goodies. And so I'm looking forward to Advent coming up. And yeah, so if you are wanting to get one of these 24 days of tea, you will need to get online quickly if you can, and pick it up, because they sell out really, really quickly. And the first time I tried this was a few years ago. I was on jury duty, and they let you go for a really nice long lunch every day. And so I walked down Queen Street West in Toronto and walked to the Davids and found the last Advent calendar. And that was the week of November 11th. So I think it might have been around November 14th that I went, and I got the last one. So if you haven't got one of these yet, you will definitely need to jump online quickly and get that soon. So yay, tea and glittering ghosts. Cheers. It's nice and warm too. Yum. Now I've got lipstick all over my cup. No one else will steal it. And now it is time for my favorite things. And my favorite things is a segment where I show you all the things I'm working on and all of my finished objects, if I have any. And usually I'm showing a lot of things I'm working on and very few finished objects. Today it's kind of the reverse. The sock that I'm working on has seen no light of day since like a few weeks ago, so it's still stuck on the heel. The Oracle shawl that I'm doing for the Spirit of Autumn knit along, unfortunately, has not seen the light of day since October 1st. So hopefully soon it will start getting a little bit more love, because, and I knew this was going to happen, it's going to get a lot more love in November and December than I knew it would get in October. So that's part of why the knit along is set in the dates that it is. And Isaac's lovely all about that brioche shawl, haven't touched it in a few weeks either. So maybe over the next week I'll get a little bit of a chance to work on each of those projects. But for now, I am done, or almost done, the projects that I have been spending most of my time on. And the first one actually just came off the needles about an hour ago. And my fingers are all picoed out. That was a lot of picoing. This is the leftover yarn. It is between 12 and 13 grams of yarn. So good use of yarn for sure. This is Farb Mosh, and this was the Flamingo colorway. And it starts off with, and I'm going to be showing you an unblocked version, that's why it's not fully a finished object. It starts off with a gray, and then it goes into a lovely peachy sort of pinky coral color, and just a lovely little touch of that on the ends, which is nice. And as I said, I spent a while doing the picot edge because it is a very, 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 super very, very long bind off. And all those picots, yeah, they took a while. So anyway, it is off the needles, and that's the main thing. I do need to soak it and get it on the blocking wires, and that will happen tonight. And then tomorrow I've got to take a few photographs, and then I've got to pop this in the mail along with the next shawl I'm going to show you to the mother of the bride for this one, and the bride for the other one that I'm going to share. This one here is the Pebble Beach shawl, and the pattern is by Helen Stewart, and I've talked about this on the podcast before. It is a fantastic project. I made a bunch of really silly little errors. The other night, Isaac and I decided to jump on the bandwagon and start watching Stranger Things. So we were binge watching the first season. There's some scary parts there, and in the process of knitting, I may have forgotten a yarn over or two, and that kind of threw my knitting off, and I probably should have just let it go because there was one missing eyelet. And if I had let it go, I would have been done yesterday. It would have been all blocked yesterday, and this would have been a very different looking shawl right now. But no, I had to think back and make it perfect because I want it to be perfect, and that's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. But anyway, we really liked watching Stranger Things, but there were scary parts, and yeah, yarn overs drop when scary stuff happens. So anyway, so that's one of the things we've been watching. The other thing that Isaac and I have been watching is Riverdale, which is also really scary, especially considering I live in the Riverdale area of Toronto. So you know, when you're sort of thinking this is happening in Riverdale, it's not happening in my Riverdale, but it's still a bit scary. Anyway, this is, as I said, the Pebble Beach shawl. Fantastic pattern, easy, very classic looking. Once it's all soaked and blocked, it will be exquisite, and I think will be a beautiful, beautiful gift to give to the mother of the bride. So that is one of the shawls, and this is the wrong side, the right side, and just get it all fold it up because I want to put it off to the side and not accidentally dip it in my tea or anything stupid like that, because that would be really, really awful, wouldn't it? Tea is good, but not on shawls. Okay, so that is one of my finished objects that I am sharing. And the other one, and I had 5 grams left. Now I do want to tell you about this shawl. I used 3.25 millimeter needles. I believe that the pattern calls for 3.75. If I had used 3.75, I would have run out of yarn, and that would have been a very, very bad thing. And well, if you've seen the podcast before, you know that I've been pulling my hair out over this shawl for a few weeks now, maybe even a couple of months. Yeah, I did not want to play that game of yarn chicken, and even though I was okay for yarn, I was very nervous throughout. Anyway, this is the Scottish Thistles Shawl, Nova Scotia, or Scottish Thistles Nova Scotia shawl, and it is all blocked out and absolutely beautiful. It has the beads on it, as you can see. And this is also the Farbe Manche in the pink to lavender colorway. And just the colors are really beautiful. And it was the yarn and the beads that really kept me going on this project because they were really pretty to look at. And there were many times I was extremely frustrated with this project. So I was definitely glad to have it off the needles, and I got this off the needles on Monday night, and I let it just sit for a while, and then Friday night I decided, okay, I gotta block this. So I got it blocked on Friday and took it off the needles just before the podcast today. So anyway, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous shawl. It really is. And what I did earlier this week is I put 5 positive things about this shawl on Instagram, because I know that I have not been very kind to it on the podcast, and you probably couldn't pay me enough money to ever knit this shawl again, but it is a beautiful shawl, and it is a beautiful pattern in itself. So the actual physical, the way it knits up is gorgeous and unbelievably gorgeous, really. But, and I've talked about this before, the formatting was enough to make me want to run screaming out of the room. So, as I said, I probably will not do this pattern again, but the 5 things that I did like about this pattern. 1, I love how my yarn choice and my bead choice went together, and how I feel this is a perfect pattern for the person that I'm giving it to. And I think the colors and the yarn and everything like that definitely made it a worthwhile knit. I did learn several new stitches as I was knitting this pattern, so that's always a good thing. And another thing, I didn't mention this, I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but I didn't mention it on my Instagram 5 good things, but I do love the edging. The edging is very clean looking and just very elegant, and it is beautiful. And you know, there needs to be some positive about it for sure. So anyway, that is my Scottish Thistle shawl. I am so happy to have it off of the needles and blocked and ready to go. And as soon as I have the Pebble Beach also blocked and ready to go, and both of them photographed, they will be heading out to the bride and the mother of the bride. So anyway, that is the much anticipated finished object that I have been looking forward to, and hopefully you have too. So there are some gorgeous beads there, and oh, just the beads on this make me so happy. I wish you could see this in person, because it really truly is a beautiful piece, and I know that the person who will be receiving it will cherish it, and really in the grand scheme of things, that's the most important part. So anyway, yay, it's done! Thankfully. The next thing I want to talk about on the podcast is the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along, which is now almost a month in, and that is a knit along that Danny of Little Bobbins and I are co-conspirating, and it is to do either the Oracle Shawl, or if you're all excited about the November 1st release of the Oracle Half Pie, that's one you can do as well, or you can do any 2 to 3 skeined magically themed shawls. So lots of ways you can enter the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along. And as I mentioned, I have not done much on mine at all. Here is my lovely pink hazel bag that has not seen much action. And I got the first little section done on my Oracle shawl way back when. And if you've tuned in before, you may have seen me put this lovely little progress keeper on. Hasn't seen the light of day, but soon. Anyway, I am hoping that you'll join in with us, and as I said, so any 2 to 3 skeined magically themed shawl is eligible. The timeline is October 1st until December 20th. If you had started an Oracle or a magically themed shawl before the start date and you were less than 25% done, you are welcome to join in and hopefully finish your project and put it in our knit along. If you'd like to double dip, there's another cal going on that you're able to meet the same sort of parameters, you are welcome to do so. And also, if you can do more than one shawl, you are welcome to enter more than one time. So if you can do 2 shawls, you get 2 entries, which is pretty good, because we've got a really great reason to join in the Spirit of Autumn Knit Along is because we have 3 really great prizes. And one of the prizes is a lovely bag by Danny of Little Bobbins. Another prize is this gorgeous skein of Spirit of Autumn, which is a colorway that Sarah of Cauldron of Colors has dyed up for us. And the last prize is currently jetting its way towards me now, and that is a skein of Boo Radley, which was the Great Characters of Literature Club of October, and I will be getting that in the mail soon, and that will be our other prize, and I'll show that when that arrives. But for now, I have this on hand to share with you, and if you just don't want to trust your luck for this one, I know Sarah is doing custom orders for this color, so you're welcome to contact Sarah of Cauldron of Colors and see if she will dye you up this beautiful, beautiful skein. And in the bag also comes some tea, and I just love the fact that the colors of the tea bags match the yarn, so that's kind of fun. It's not too late to join in the Spirit of Autumn knit along, and you can join in the fun either on Instagram or in the Comfy Red Couch group on Ravelry. And there is a hashtag Spirit of Autumn Cal, and also in the Ravelry group there is a chatter thread and there's a finished object thread, and that is where we will go to for the final prizes, is the Ravelry group, and I'm hoping to see lots of things starting to pop up, especially once the half pie shawl is released. I'm hoping to see a few more, so please join us, and it'll be a lot of fun to see all of the wonderful things that start popping up. This week on Brown Paper Packages, I got some fun things in the mail, including a bird leg bags sock sack, and this is in the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown material, which is fun. And then inside, trick or treat, and just a fun little lining. And I always love the bird leg bags. They're really well made. This one's a padded one. I love that it has a handle, and I always walk around with it on my wrist, and if I can knit and hold it if I'm standing, or if I'm somewhere where I need to hold on to it like on the subway or something, it's fantastic. So I really love my bird leg bags, so I got this one. The other thing I got from Vicky of Bird Leg Bags was this fun tote, and it is the extra large size that she's just started making. It's got a spot for putting a pattern in, and it's got that fun sheep balls of yarn material. Inside are a couple of pockets, and just a nice strong bag. I had shown my, oh Scout, I had shown my medium nest bag, no, this is large. I had shown my large nest bag a few weeks back that Vicky had made for me, and this is the Spells. I cannot show you inside though because it's got a knit vent project. Ooh, exciting. And so this is just a bigger version of that nest bag, and really great for putting maybe a couple of project bags in, or I'm thinking I'm going to use this one actually for work. So when I've got to bring things back and forth, or I like to bring my knitting project bag with me every day to work. So this will be a really nice bag for that. And I, of course, like this side best. And then also on the sides, there's a little pocket to put some other things too. So beautifully made, and I love my bird leg bags. Another thing I got was from Busy Pottering, and a couple more bags, because one can never have enough bags. And this one, I saw this and I just thought it was too cute. And it's just a lovely little birdie bag, and it's padded as well, nice small one. And look at the beautiful eggs inside, and just, it's so soft, and a really nice sock. Perfect for a little sock to put in there, sock projects, because one can never have enough sock project bags either. And then the other thing I got from Busy Pottering, and this is too cute, is the little hedgehog bag. And my cute little hedgehog. And on the other side, 2 more hedgehogs. So just adorable. And the zipper pull is the cutest little ceramic hedgehog. And I'm going to have to be very careful with this because I don't want it to break, because it is just so cute. And then when you open the bag, it's just a lovely, nice sort of khaki lined inside. But there was a fun sock blank and the sock blank has little hedgehogs across it. And this was a kit that I purchased. And also in the bag, the package, was this cute little felty, I think it's a sticker as well, hedgehog. Also inside this gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bag were some stitch markers. And there is a stitch marker that is a cute little bird and I think a little butterfly. And then over here, another butterfly and a cute little hedgehog. So absolutely adorable and well made, and I love the material at the bottom is so nice too. So it's just such a lovely, lovely, well made, and such a unique bag. So, oh, let's put this back inside. So definitely when I saw this pop up on Instagram, this is one of those things I was not trusting my luck to win. I wanted to have that cutie, and it's mine now. So I may put one of the projects for Knit Vent in here once I get to a few more projects. The final thing I have to share on brown paper packages this week is some yarn that I got this week in the mail. And I got some lovely, lovely yarn. I bought some beautiful DK weight yarns from Nora George because it's winter and I have mainly fingering weight in my stash, and I wanted to have a little bit of DK, so if there's any fun projects that come my way, I'm good to go. And they were really pretty in the shop. So this is Great White, and unfortunately the color's not showing very well, but it's a white with light and dark blue speckles. More blue, I think, than purple, but there is certainly a little bit of a purple undertone. And another gorgeous DK I got is The Fire Is So Delightful. And yes, this fire is very delightful. The next one I got is Mistletoe, and these three are all on DK. And Mistletoe's got these beautiful little greens. I wouldn't be surprised if you might see this one knit up fairly soon, although I'm not sure which project I might use it for. And then, oh goodness, they're both, these ones just sort of blew me away. These are on MCN DK, and this one is called Fading Light. And the colors that are in here are spectacular. And just look at those lovely speckles, greens, pinks, blues. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous sunset. So I'm really excited to use this one. And then this one totally captured my heart. And this one is also on MCN DK, and this is called October. And the colors in here are divine. So oranges, greens, pinks, some purple in there, just gorgeous, gorgeous, all on a cream base. And I'm really looking forward to knitting this one up. This one just, I can't get enough of this one. And I've actually ordered a second skein of this one because it is just too beautiful. So anyway, so these are from Nora George, and they came in the mail on Friday. So I was happy to come home at the end of a long week and have some gorgeous yarn to open up. And then I also, at the very beginning of the week, got some yarn from the lovely Jane at Hedgerow. And I even let Greg open up one of the parcels because he needed to see what it was like to open up a Hedgerow yarn package. And he ended up opening this one, which was my favorite color in the ones I chose. And this is Autumn Glade. And I've since seen that Jane does this on Sparkle, and I have to get an Autumn Glade on Sparkle because it is just gorgeous. And pink and green will get me every time. And this one is, oh, too pretty. Look at the little purples. I think Jane nailed it with this colorway. It's absolutely wonderful. And then there was some sparkle in the mix because one can never have enough sparkle. And this one is called Sweet Pea. And when we went to England, the place that we stayed at an Airbnb. She had a little balcony garden and she had all the sweet peas. And I really enjoyed just picking the sweet peas, just sort of deadheading the sweet peas and watering them every day because that was what I said I would do while I was there. And so now I have a little affinity to sweet peas. So yarn names will get me every time, and a sweet pea will now get me every time too. The final one I'm going to share with you is a beautiful tweedy sock, and this one is called Autumn Walk. And there's a beautiful little stitch marker that Jane has put on there, and look at these glorious, glorious colors. Just beautiful, beautiful. And when I saw these on Etsy, they popped into my cart and were checked out really, really quick. Anyway, this is an 85% superwash merino and a 15% Donegal nep, and it's about 400 meters or 437 yards, but so soft and so squishy. And look, it matches my lipstick. I need more time to knit, I really do. Anyway, that leaves us with an empty basket, and that's all the brown paper packages I have to share this week. And now it's time for some bits and bobs, and this is my section where I talk about things that are going on. Maybe they've already happened, maybe they're about to happen, and usually at some point I say, it was a busy week, and yeah, it was a busy week. And on Tuesday, I had an event at work that went well, so that is done. And on Wednesday night, we went to see Isaac in his school production, and he did a scene from Brighton Beach Memoirs, and then he was in a song as well, and then he was in the background of another scene. So it was the showcase for the grade 10s. He's in grade 11, so they had the first half was the grade 10s, the second half was the grade 11s. But that was a long evening, and then as I mentioned, I was working away on the 2 wedding shawls as well. And then I had a funny thing happen on Friday morning, and very, very early on Friday morning. And if you've tuned into the podcast before, you may have seen my alarm go off if I've had a yarn update. And so I sleep with my iPad beside my bed because I do set the alarm. And John Mayer wakes me up every morning, which is just a nice way to wake up. But Friday at 4 a.m., the iPad made a sound, and I pulled it, and I was getting a FaceTime call from Tracy of Nora George Yarns at 4 a.m. And I wasn't terribly coherent at that time, just what's going on? Why is someone calling me at this time? So I split it open, and there is Pippa and Finn giggling away at me. And I think one of them might have been in their birthday suits, and there was lots of giggling. So I said, "Hi, Pippa. Hi, Finn." And then I slid it off and set the do not disturb, and sent Tracy a little message on Instagram saying, "Do you know your kids are on FaceTime?" So anyways, it was a bit of a funny wake-up call to receive at 4 a.m. on Friday. And I did find myself during the day, I was a little bit tired, but at little points during the day, I would just start giggling because of that visual image of, it was like having a surprise party at wake you up, hey, good morning, with little ones jumping around in their birthday suits. So yeah, it was an interesting wake up for sure. I was happy to sleep in on Saturday morning, definitely. Week ahead, well, we've got Halloween coming, so Nathaniel and I will be dressing up as vampires. I've got my teeth all ready, and I picked up some lipstick. We were trying on the lipstick on Friday night, so Nathaniel was being adventurous and letting me put some vampira on his lips, so that was kind of fun. And I've still got to get his teeth. He won't get the same kind that I have. He'll just have those little ones that pop in his mouth. But he's looking forward to being a vampire. Isaac's a little bit disappointed because I have taken my vampire cape. He wanted to borrow it. Last year he used it and he was Tom Riddle for Halloween. He looked pretty good actually, but this year it's like, no, I'm taking it and I'm going to pop in my teeth and I'm going to put on my lipstick and I'm going to look scary and freak people out, and that'll be kind of fun. Anyway, as usual, busy week anticipated ahead. I have the wedding next Saturday. In regards to podcasting next week, I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I probably will try to podcast next Sunday, but I have taken the Monday off work. It's one of my lieu days, so I may podcast on the Monday. So next week might be a little bit of a different timing for me, just to recuperate. Knit Vent is coming, so I didn't talk about that earlier, but I'm starting to work on the Knit Vent projects, and I'm so excited to start those. So I did show you the bag I'm using for one of those, and I'm sort of doing a bit of a gothic themed. Helen did mention in an email this morning that it is the Nutcracker Suite theme that she's using for Knit Vent, and I have 3 of the patterns so far. I have yet to start those 3 patterns, but I'm excited to start doing those. And as I said, my first one's going to be a little bit gothic, so I've got some fun yarn lined up, and I'm hoping that it'll work really nicely for this project. And that's all I've got to share in bits and bobs, I think, this week, and time to move on to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast this week. I hope that you've had a chance to just sit down and relax, take some time for yourself, and that you've enjoyed your cup of tea or coffee or a glass of wine or whatever libation you chose to sit down with today, and that you've made some good progress on your project of choice. And I hope to see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Bye. One skein of yarn, ha 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 ha. 2 skeins of yarn, ha 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 ha. 3 skeins of yarn, ha 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 ha. Who doesn't love the Count from Sesame Street? Skeins of yarn, ha 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 ha.